All right, welcome to Sports Minds, where all roads lead to sports and we talk ball every season. We are your hosts, Philthy, Hashmaster, and today we have a special guest with us on the podcast. We'll let Hashmaster lead the way.
Oh, hey, y'all might know him from, the Indianapolis Colts for a little bit. Y'all might know from my old college pictures, the tall guy, number 9, that founder of Fast Break Wideouts from Memphis, Tennessee, the one and only Gregory Moore. How you doing, brother? How you doing today?
What's going on, fellas? I appreciate y'all having me, man. Y'all doing some good work, man. Good quality work, man. Just keep going. Like, that's what I tell everybody, man. Just whatever you're doing, keep doing. One day at a time, one moment at a time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. So I'm pretty sure the listeners right now are wondering, hey, special guest, what's the reason? Well, as y'all know, we're a podcast. So we be bringing everybody with sports minds onto Sports Minds to talk, dissect, and just have a rap session. So for y'all that don't know, I'm gonna let Gregory speak about himself a little bit as a little blurb, and we'll go ahead and go from there.
I'm Greg Moore. I played at Lane College with Hashim. I was there for 3 years. I went to like 5 colleges before I finally got it right. Lane was the 5th and final stop. It was an amazing experience. Just like any college, man, it has its pitfalls, but I found family at Lane. You know what I mean? So that was an incredible experience. And I also tell people all the time, if you can make it through Lane College, life is going to be a breeze, man, because you're going to be hit with so many different things for you to really like analyze, and then choose right and wrong. And that's what life is as an adult, making the right decision at the right time at a moment's notice. And that was commonplace at Lane. So I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. It's kind of helped shape like my life as it is right now, and possibly my future as well. My wife and I, we built this program called Fast Break. It started off with just wideouts, but we were working with someone that was working with quarterbacks, and I grew up playing quarterback, so it was a natural fit to kind of merge the two and just kind of do it on our own. We've been pretty successful at it. We got about 20 kids in college right now. We got a handful of guys playing pro ball. And we sponsor a 707 team here in the area for, of course, amateur youth. So we got a lot going on, man. It's not just football. We do a little bit of mentoring. Man, we attend these guys' prom send-offs. We've been to freaking funerals. We've been to baby showers. Like, we really become like really immersed into their lives, and theirs and ours. So Fast Break is not just a training company. It's a lifestyle, it's a way of life, and it's a family. And then aside from that, we've recently got into the scouting side of football, which has been it's been great, man. I can't lie, it's been great.
Man, see, beautiful stuff, beautiful work. And this is one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on, because yes, we are a sports podcast, but we like to hear what you're doing in the community, and I love it. And it's not like you're just training these kids to play football and be football. It's
right.
You being there for them, and you
right.
being like immersed in their lives and being a mentor, and helping them. It's kind of like what most of us wish we had growing up. So
Exactly.
You're providing that space,
exactly.
that safe space.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that, and I salute you, and I know your city salutes you the same. With that being said, can you tell us a little bit more about what you've been up to? Other projects that you've been a part of since Fast Break.
So I came in originally. I'm sorry, I'm back and forth. So for the listener, the NFL draft is going on right now.
Yep.
A portion of my job, aside from the system that we built, I'm working in the scouting side for a game called the Reese's Senior Bowl, and it's a college all-star game for the most talented senior student athletes in the country. We're basically the bridge between college football and the NFL. So right now, we got a handful of guys that are in this year's draft. Well, more than a handful. It should be. I believe we're at about 183 players in the draft this year.
Wow.
Quote me on that number. It's not exact. I know how many invites we sent out, and it was a lot. So just trying to keep an eye on who's drafted where, because when you're in the scouting side of things, what I've learned is you begin to foster these relationships with these athletes because in our role with the Senior Bowl, you're both a group leader and a scout. And so you scout them during the year, during the fall, we go out to games and we scout the players. And then the week of the Senior Bowl, you're at the facility with the guys that you scouted. And so it becomes more than just I'm watching football or I'm trying to see if this guy's good or not. But as a person that made it to that level, no matter how long I stayed, I'm a student of the game and I've been a student of the NFL. And so I'm able to give them a different perspective than someone who may have not. So you foster the relationships and then naturally like you learn to like genuinely care about them as a person and as a player. So right now I'm keeping track of the draft to see where the guys in my group landed specifically, because by the time they get to Mobile the week of the Senior Bowl, the actual game or the festivities, you're with one group the whole time, and I got the American receivers. So we've had 4 guys come off the board in my group. We've had a lot of players from the game period come out, but we've had 4 guys from my group come off the board. So I'm ecstatic about that because you kind of learn the guys a little bit.
Who are your 4 players that came off the board?
Darius Davis, TCU, just came off the board to the Chargers. I think right before him, it was Tank Dell went off the board to the Texans yesterday.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one, yeah. And then Rashid Rice came off the board right before him. He went to the Chiefs.
He went to Chargers.
Yeah. No, okay, so Davis
I'm sorry, he went to Chiefs.
Yeah, he went to the Chiefs. Yeah,
Yeah,
Rice.
Right, yeah. I was about to say it was the Chiefs.
that was my bad.
I think that's a good fit for him. And then the first one off the board was Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. He went to the
Mingo's your guy. Wow.
Carolina, they got them a good one.
Yeah, Carolina got a good one to go with their quarterback. So 4 guys from my Senior Bowl group. Yeah, man, I scouted both Dale and Mingo in season. So I watched their game a little bit more than I watched the rest of them, but I also evaluated a ton of footage of Tay Wick, so I'm interested to see where he's going to go.
Okay.
At Virginia. So, yeah, man, just keeping track of this draft, man, trying to see these guys make their dreams come true.
And see, you hear that, listeners? That is the life of a scout. It's not all about sitting and watching film. It's about fostering relationships.
Right.
So
but everybody don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say everybody does it like that. I think my approach is genuine, like you alluded to earlier. You were saying we want the coaching that we thought we should have had. And so on the scouting side, just like I am when I'm a coach, like I'm doing this thing the way I felt like it should have been done, like in my process. So yeah. Trying to
I feel you.
Well, more so on the scouting side, let me ask you this, because I've seen I'm definitely more detached. I'm just a fan of the game, really just a viewer. But I've seen the movies, like I've seen that Sandler movie where he's a scout for the NBA. I've seen other like scout related movies across sports, and now you're a scout. So I'm curious, what makes you want to pull the trigger and ultimately want to go after a player, and you do want to rep them or want to get them to achieve their dreams? What makes you pull the trigger on that?
Well, our experience with the Senior Bowl is different because they sit down, they kind of sit down and evaluate like who's a high level player, who they feel like is like a guy that can make it to the next level. And then we go out to the games, they give us a list of guys to look at. Now, on that list, of course, like we do the player profiles and all of that stuff, and then we have to write up the evaluations. But if somebody flashes on field during the game, then that's the guy that you can kind of add to the list and say, hey, I think this guy is a high-level football player and has the talent. So I think this is somebody we should look into. But other than that, they give us the list, and then it's our job to evaluate the talent.
Okay. All right. I like that. So speaking of talent, players flashing. So whether it was you've been at the Senior Bowl, scouting department for 2 years now, or just a year?
Yeah,
So
so the first year we came in and all of us were group leaders. So we did the
okay.
group thing first the week of the Senior Bowl. And then we had to write up scout notes that year. And then because of how well we did that initial year, they rolled out a player initiative to get more of us into scouting. And so we were able to scout that fall. So the first year was just group leading the week of. And then the last year, I was able to really get out like grassroots and get out there and do some scouting. So this
Gotcha.
was my first year scouting on field, like on the sideline.
Gotcha. Now, during this time, has there been a player where you've, like a dime in the rough, where you've been like, yo, this kid could play?
Aubrey Miller, Jackson State.
Okay. You hear that, folks?
Aubrey Miller, Jackson State. Incredibly talented young man. I think the thing I love the most about him is his motor. Like on defense, special teams, it don't matter what it is, pregame, like he's juiced up and he's about his work. Whether he's taking on a double team on defense or running down on kickoff, it's incredible effort and he don't take plays off. He came down to the Senior Bowl, man, and had a really good week. So he's one of the guys I'm really watching for to see like where he goes. Is it the right fit? Like I want the situation for him to be right because he's a really talented player.
I love it. I love that. Because what people really overlook about the Senior Bowl process is that there's more to football than just the big names and the Power Fives, right?
Right.
And that's why I specifically asked Diamond in the Roughs.
Right.
Because these players need to be known because, hey, you never know. Maybe within 2 years, we start hearing that name more and more. Hey, watch this kid, watch that kid. But you've already known about it. So no, I appreciate that. And also, if there is another question I would have, since your specialty is receivers, for all the listeners listening that play the position or are interested, what as a scout, what do you look for as far as top traits in a wideout during this process?
Oh man, can you win at the line of scrimmage, especially in the league because you're going to get one-on-one opportunities? Can you win at the line of scrimmage? Do you run off the ball? Because winning at the line of scrimmage is one thing, but if you don't know how to race the stack and control the route or the tempo of the route, it means nothing. Can you change direction? Can you read? Like, can you read zone or man? Are you aggressive at the catch? Are your hands consistent? Are your eyes consistent? Weight level and pad level and all that good stuff. But then also effort. Like, are you a guy that races off the ball? Do you run hard? Like, when you know the ball isn't coming to you, are you still busting your ass? Like that kind of stuff matters. I remember they were trying to tell me that when I was in college, and I just didn't listen, man. I was just trying to do the best that I could when I could, versus somebody's always watching, and you got to show up. That's a part of flashing on tape. Is this guy like 100% or close to it every play, right? And then I like to see a wideout that plays special teams and not just a return game. Because I was a small school guy and that was the way that I was going to get on the field when I was in the league, I want to see a guy contribute on special teams. And that's one of the things we hang our hats on here with our kids or our young men. Like I really impress on them like, man, it's imperative that you play special teams. That'll keep you in the show.
I love that. And once again, that's another good nugget to bring up, especially out of college, going into the league, or even hell, when you're in college. Because I know I had to play special teams. Never had to do it before, but did it there. it's a good way to keep your football fundamentals sharp,
Right.
and it shows on how much of an effort person you are, a hustle guy.
Right.
And coaches take note of that. So, glad you mentioned that. And I'm just gonna show shameless plug in there. Those times that you blocked at Lane College, got me springing out for 50-yard runs down the field against the defense. Yeah, Aaron Appleby couldn't tackle me. So if you're listening, it's all love. uh, but yeah, no, man. Like I could say that about you. Especially during that time. It was like, I mean, we were young, right?
Yeah. Right.
And we're all used to a certain lifestyle at this, at that point in time.
Yeah.
Whether it's being the guy or being the scrappy person or being like the quiet baller, like all these different archetypes coming together. But when it came to like, it's like this defense is gonna kick y'all offense's ass. That's what everybody started to, okay, hey, we cannot let the defense beat us.
Right.
We cannot. And then everyone just went Kobe mode.
Let me ask you this, Greg. Just because we're on the topic of the NFL, are you actually following any team? Are you a fan of anyone out there? Or are you really just more like watching? You watch the game differently now at this point?
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, when I got done playing, I watched the game differently. So growing up as a kid, I was a Steelers fan because down here in Memphis, either you're a Steelers fan or a Cowboys fan. That's just what it is here. Like that's just that's just what it is. And so I grew up a Steelers fan, and of course, when I got into college, I don't know about most people, but for me, when I got into college, I was everything in the school that I went to. Like, if college basketball, my team changed to Lane. College football, of course, I was playing that lane, so it was Lane College. College baseball, I used to watch a little bit. Instead of being a Texas fan, I was a Lane College fan. So it changed for me because of where I was playing. And then when I got to Indy, of course, I don't know about other people, but for me, like, it's kind of difficult to be a fan of a franchise that you may play against. So I dropped my fandom then, and I just when I got done playing, I really stopped watching for a while, and then it kind of took me a minute to get back into watching. But now I just watch the game to see guys that I'm familiar with, to see the guys, of course, that I've coached, and then also to see the guys that I scout.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And what players in the league that do you watch? Who you keeping your eye on out there?
Well, most of the guys I'm keeping my eye on are underdog, like small school guys. Christian Wilkinson with the Patriots last year, year before last, he scored 2 touchdowns against the Jags. He was used primarily on special teams, but that gave him a shot against the Jaguars, like mid to end of the season, and he played phenomenally. I think he had 4 targets and 2 of them were touchdowns.
Oh yeah, that's good. Okay.
I also watch Rodney Williams. He's with the Steelers now. He plays tight end. He came out of last year's draft. Kid used to be a wideout and made the switch to tight end, man. And I think, he placed his numbers were like number 1 in every category except for one at his pro days. He ran like 4.50 40. Like that's blazing for a tight end.
I think I remember him.
He had a 40+ in his vertical. He played at UT Martin, another small school guy.
Yep.
I watched TP because he's from the city, and I worked with him a couple of times. He's from University of Memphis, played at Melrose here. Pollard with the Cowboys.
Yep. That's our guy.
Hell of a ball. Really, man, I really just try to watch all the Memphis guys. Really, honestly, watch all the Memphis guys, especially if I work with them. And then also, like I said, the guys that came through the Senior Bowl last year, I watched them. And then it's going to be fun to watch the guys that come through the Senior Bowl this year because I got a little better relationship with them guys because of scouting during the fall. So, yeah, man, I watch who I know, man. Like, that's
right.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Nah, I love that, because that's what it's about at this point in this stage, right? Because it's not like, you're going to be wide out into deep into the weeds being like, okay, I'm going to watch everybody and everything. It's like, no, let's focus on my specialty, and I'm a small school guy. Let's see how they're doing.
Right.
Let's check these tickers and see, like, if so and so is about to start. See if they're about to get some action. Let's tune in, see what's up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I appreciate you answering our questions today. Glad to see that you're doing well, healthy. Much peace and love to the family, all that good stuff, man. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk.
Yes, sir. Same to you, brother. Thank you, man.
Yes, thank you for your time, for sure. Well, folks,
Now
I'm not
to the
gonna lie.
draft.
Yeah, not gonna lie, folks. We gotta get into this NFL draft, man. We had a very active round 1. We have a very interesting round 2. We got round 4 going on right now, and it's creeping into round 5. Greg, feel free if any of you guys get drafted, definitely lead the way and take the floor so we know exactly what we're watching for next season. When you guys get picked up.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, please.
All right, Hashmaster. We're already going from the top. We already knew what was going to be Bryce Young. We already knew, right? We already knew that. Texans already starting with the magic. All right, with CJ Stroud. All the talk from the beginning was all a smokescreen, and they have a brain. Like I was saying a few pods ago, they take a quarterback. It's staring at them right in the face. CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I fell for the smoke screen to low key because I was like, all right, hey, D'Amico Ryan's his defensive coach, but at the same time, I'm thinking they were going to trade for somebody. So instead of actually making that trade, they made the quarterback of the future pick for CJ Stroud, and then they made the big trade that nobody saw, going up to 3, taking Arizona's spot and getting Will Anderson, which I was like, oh snap. Okay, in a draft where there's 15 blue chip, what they call blue chip players, you took 2 of them back to back. That is something that I have never seen that, but it was a risk worth taking, in my opinion. So
now that the dust is settled, it kind of set in a little bit. How do you feel about Will Anderson being the pick?
So I like it because I get what D'Amico Ryans is going to. D'Amico Ryans is a hell of a coach, number one. See on how he coaches up those folks down in San Francisco. And it's more of like, okay, with Will, I don't have to worry about, I guess, possible red flags, as you do with, other folks within the draft. We'll get into that later. It's more of like Will Anderson is a high character guy. He's solid, somebody that could give me 8 to 10 sacks with the coaching I'm going to give him. I believe, this is me as D'Amico Ryan's talking, that 8 to 10 will become 12 to 13, and if I can make him into a Myles Garrett type person where you're going to get me a sack a game, maybe, then I did my job, but I just need a cornerstone for my defense at this time. Because you got Derek Stingley in the back. You got, I believe they drafted a badass safety too.
They have Jalen Petrie back there.
Yeah. And now so now it's just like, we need that pass rusher to be that guy. And, without the extra baggage, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah. Greg,
and it totally blew up our mock draft too.
That's true. That's the first thing I said. I was like, well, that's over with for sure. Greg, how do you feel about the Texans doing their moves right there?
I honestly was surprised. Like earlier this week, I started seeing Will Levis's name creep up the boards a little bit. And I was hoping nobody jumped too early to get him. But I thought Stroud was gonna land to Indy.
That's what I thought too.
That's me being selfish because one of my guys played for Indy, but I thought he was gonna fall to Indy, and that would have been what I felt like was a perfect fit. But I'm also not mad at AR-15 going to Indy. He's an incredible quarterback and athlete. So I was also shocked
definitely
when they moved up to 3. That kind of shocked me a little bit because I knew Will Anderson was gonna fall to 3. I didn't know it didn't matter who was picked ahead of him. I knew he would be 3.
Yeah.
I just kind of had it just in my bones. I just felt like he would be 3, and I thought he would be a solid fit for Arizona. Lose
Yeah.
JJ Watt this year. You're gonna need another edge. Will
Right.
Anderson gives you versatility on your front 5. Why not?
Why not?
Um,
They did it.
As he can step down and come off the edge, pretty well. I thought it was a good fit. I thought that was a good defensive fit for him.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at Houston, man. They just made their program, their franchise a lot better.
Yep.
And then they
Absolutely.
Jalen Horton in the 4th, like from TCU.
Oh
6
yeah.
edge, like they got some pieces, man. They got some pieces. I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
And like I said, Filthy earlier, D'Amico Ryans, he's got time, and now he just got himself more time.
he bought a lot of more time. You got Tank Dell in the 3rd, you got Dylan in the 4th, you got your quarterback of the future and your defensive anchor of the future in the 1st. Like, that's some really good drafting.
Yeah, in addition to what you already have previously, yeah, it's shaping up to be very nice. Actually, I'm very curious to see what they put together once the season kicks off.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, but Greg touched upon it. Pick 4, Anthony Richardson to the Colts.
Yep.
You had some people saying, I don't know, he kind of should have developed in the back end. A lot of people saying, get him in there now. So definitely a divisive pick already at pick 4. But then things change already at pick 5, Hashmaster.
I know, bro. All right, so
It went left, Hashmaster.
I was saying, look, I thought Anthony Richardson was going to be drafted to the Seahawks, actually.
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
like, hey, sit behind Geno for 1 year or 2. I don't know. And I'm not, and actually what I didn't know out in Indy, that was the OC that helped Jalen Hurts, be Jalen Hurts that we all know.
Right.
22 passing touchdowns, 18 rushing touchdowns throughout the season. Insane. So I'm thinking, okay, what if I could see where Indy came from, where they're like, what if we had a Superman version of Jalen Hurts athletically? And the plan, I see the plan and I loved it. So now I'm not worried about Anthony Richardson anymore, because the thing about, quote unquote project quarterbacks is fit, scheme, buy-in from the coach. If the coach says, I want this person, that means, at least to me, they're going to do whatever it takes to coach up to your strengths and eventually turn your, areas of improvement, in part of those strengths. So I think that was a great fit at the end of the day.
Definitely.
And speaking of great fits, our boy from Illinois going to Seattle, they're making a Legion of Boom 2.0.
Yeah, definitely. I was my jaw did drop. I mean, when you think about it, it's not a surprise, of course, right? You would makes sense for Devon Witherspoon to go over to Seattle, but it's just like, wow, I did not see that coming, man. Like, okay, I like it.
They drafted 2 corners last year, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. That's what I get that.
Williams is a ball player
because Kobe Bryant's nasty.
Yeah, but now you have a tandem. You have a legit tandem. You have Witherspoon, you have Tariq Woolen, you have Kobe Bryant. I mean,
that's a wasted pick, man.
Oh, who would you have got? Would you have preferred the Jalen Carter pick, Greg?
I don't know, man. I just felt like, man, they drafted 2 corners last year. Both of them show up as rookies and give you a ton of value. True. Like just thinking, just front office thinking, like, why would I take another corner in the 1st round? Like you're gonna get talent at corner in later rounds. Like you don't have to. Now for him, it's good for him, like, because I don't never want to step on nobody, like, especially not step on their money, because you get picked that high, that's a real signing bonus. So I don't want to step on that for him.
No, yeah, just logistically speaking, for team build wise.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see it coming either. That shocked the hell out of me, because
for him, but I didn't see that coming though.
Well, I mean, Seattle did draft another running back.
Yeah,
They-
yeah, yeah.
they-
Well, we'll
that
get there
that
too.
that
Yeah.
so that's where I'm like, that's where I was kind of scratching my head. I was like, yo, y'all just got Kenneth Walker. Like Kenneth Walker, he
Yeah.
is like he's
Yeah.
not, he may not be the biggest guy in the world, but it doesn't matter. He runs a
I've
4.3.
been watching Kenny Walker since he was in high school. That man has been a dog.
Right.
Wow. Dang.
Been a dog. Been a dog. He's a flat out dog. Yeah, I
Wow.
don't know, man. Some of these, I don't know.
Well, and that's kind of, I feel like, is the theme of this draft, is a lot of teams making a lot of confusing things. Moving on from the draft, the Cardinals trade up with the Lions and they end up going Paris Johnson Jr. We're thinking, protect your QB.
Great pick. Great pick.
Yeah, Raiders go out. They get Tyree Wilson. He drops to 7, but Raiders go ahead. And we had a joke, Greg. We kind of joke like the Raiders, they never really make good picks anyways. Who cares? Especially when you take an Alex Leatherwood. But, they go Tyree Wilson here, kind of a surprise.
I actually thought that was a good pick.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good pick. I figured they were going to go Devon Witherspoon or they were going to go Christian Gonzalez. That's who I thought. But because it's like y'all need secondary help. But maybe the thought process this time was, oh, well, we need pass rushers to give our corner some time. Yeah. We can figure out corners, and like what Greg said, you could get, if you could scout, you could get them later on in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's value.
Yeah. Yep. And then the biggest major shakeup, and that really did it for everyone, was Bijan Robinson going pick 8 to the Falcons. He goes to a run-heavy team. They're already projecting him 1,000+ yards, multi TDs, 10+ TDs. They already have huge projections for Bijan. Where do you see him? How do you see him performing, Greg?
I like Bijan. Bijan is a talented and very versatile back. He gives them a lot of range. He can be a 3-down back for them. So, for an 8th pick, just because of the era of ball, like we haven't seen too many backs taking that high in recent years. But I like it. I'm not mad at it. Again, like I said, I ain't gonna never. I've seen grades that weren't good for the pick. But also, man, I'm not gonna knock a man for getting his paper.
Definitely.
It was a jump in my opinion, but he's also like immensely talented. So
yeah. Right. Well, Hashmaster, how'd you feel? Because when we did our mock, we kind of didn't even know where to put him. We even talked about, the value of RBs before, and we were talking about the whole Zeke debacle earlier in the season. So given this is a topic we always talk about, how do you feel about Bijan going in the 8th, given we didn't even know where he was going to go anyways?
Right. Well, as a running back, I'm excited. I'll say that. I'm gonna show my running back bias because, like we talked about in previous shows, it's like, okay, I get it. They're devalued, but Austin Eckler's out here giving you 30 touchdowns in 2 seasons, but you don't want to pay him. Like, there's a difference between somebody declining and somebody who produces, and you feel like you could just replace 30 touchdowns rushing or total. Like it's like they grow in trees when they, in fact, don't. So when you're drafting a guy like Bijan, Saquon, Zeke, Todd Gurley, and with Leonard Fournette, we'll get into that later. But when you're drafting guys like this in the first round, and especially in the top 10 or top 5, the expectation is not 900 yards. The expectation is not 1,000 or 1,100. You're expecting these people, to rush for 1,500 yards plus, or getting that total, getting the total package. And Bijan does that. Arthur Smith's history is what? Running the ball, having a balanced attack. Derrick Henry, Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algiers. Tyler Algiers is a good back. That's the thing. Bijan is a great back. And now to be paired with that backfield, Arthur Smith is probably going to do a lot more, heavy run, play action pass with Desmond Ridder. Hopefully Kyle Pitts recovers quickly, gets back to his 1,000-yard year. I don't know, but that's how I see it, and I'm excited for it because I definitely did not see the Falcons going running back at all. So
I saw one mock where that had Bijan going to the Falcons, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. But I'll tell you, for me, I'm not gonna lie, Greg. The draft started getting not so fun for me because, to be honest, I am a Cowboys fan. Eagles picked at 9. I was happy Bijan was not there for them. I was
yeah,
not happy they traded up and they got one Jalen Carter in addition to what they already have,
They
which
got
is
that
already
car.
like most of Georgia.
Yeah, they got it's Philly Bulldog now.
right.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
bulldogs all over the place. Look, it's bad where it's like, like everybody knows when it comes pound for pound football player, it's Jalen Carter number 1, probably Bijan number 2. That's just my opinion. But
yeah, and
you know,
yeah.
but if Micah Parsons is like trying to do the draft stuff and he sees that happening, he gets up and walks out, like, man, I'm sick to my stomach. It's like, damn, they got another steal, and the whole thing about the Jalen Carter stuff, what I was alluding to earlier with the Will Anderson thing, where it's like risk reward when it comes to people with. I'm not even going to say he had a checker pass. He made a mistake, messed up. I know, but if you're in an environment with veterans that can guide you, you'll be all right. So, and I think the Eagles have that type of environment to where Jalen Carter is probably going to wreck the league, within a year or two. So,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah. And like
And they got the
I was on the right track because in the mock I did have the Eagles taking, I had them taking Miles Murphy, and I did argue, they are getting old in the starters and they have to get young in the trenches, and they did do that with Jalen Carter. But
Yeah.
I wish the Lions would not have traded that pick out because I wanted Aiden Hutchinson and Jalen Carter on the same team. I wanted that to happen.
That would have been crazy. The
I
Lions didn't be great.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I had that in the mock. I totally wanted that. But here we are in reality. Jalen Carter to the Eagles. Moving on. Bears go on. They take Darnell Wright, which I really liked. We had them taking an O lineman anyways, so we're on the right path there, Hashmaster. And then here we are with the Lions with the head scratching decision once again.
All right.
They trade up and they take Jahmyr Gibbs, a projected second, third rounder. I gotta get your guys' opinion on this. How do you guys feel about this?
I need a belt.
He said he did a belt.
They need a back, and he was the best available.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I said yesterday. See, look, it's like, oh, you already have DeAndre Swift, who's available for 4 games. No, thanks. It's okay. Like, there's a reason why they moved off of. I mean, I would have moved off of Jamal, but I get why they did. So they move off of Jamal. He's getting older. DeAndre Swift is a back that, he's great when he's available. But do you want to rely on that all the time? No. Jahmyr Gibbs in a increasingly weapons first league is a weapon first. So you could put him in the slot. You could put him, you could put him on the outside sometimes. He's a running back. You could throw him screens. He could run inside, outside, and he has 4.3 speed. Because I get the whole Alvin Kamara thing. I think it's literally because of the locks he can catch. But yeah, he's not Kamara to me. He's more of he's more in the vein of. Oh wait, you say something?
I said he may not be Kamara, but he has like similar skill set.
Yeah,
like, a guy, but like
right.
He's closer to like his skill set is Kamara. Like can line up, can catch in space. Like that's Kamara. Like he can run between the tackles and outside the tackles. Like I mean that's Kamara.
I mean it is, but hey, it's running a 4.3. I'm just saying,
right.
But yeah, I guess like you said, skill set wise, that it's the same. I guess it's the same. All right. I can
From
admit
that
when I'm wrong.
perspective, you know what? You guys are both correct. In the moment, it was definitely like, whoa, but you're right. If on their board they were assuming Bijan was gonna fall to them and Bijan goes there, my reaction is I need a running back. Let me get the best backup or available, which is Jahmyr Gibbs. And so in that way, it does make sense. Totally right. My only complaint, and I did say this before, Hashmaster on the pod, was how they handled their RB room in the first place in the offseason by letting go of Jamal Williams. We had the DeAndre Swift argument. Ironically, while you guys were doing your interview, Swift ends up getting traded to Philly. So this whole Philly thing is really just like boiling my blood, you know? Philly gets even more players that they don't need. So DeAndre Swift goes. I
They
wish it
do
would
need
have.
him back though.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I just wish Detroit would have handled their running back situation better. They could have
Well,
unloaded their backs, had more
okay.
draft picks going into this, giving they were going to take Jahmyr Gibbs, or they wanted a running back to begin with.
So, like, this is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. You can't. I was like, handle it. Like, okay, so let's say you keep Jamal Williams. He is a great goal line back. He's a great short yardage, and I mean, honestly, he's a solid starter. He's gonna move the chains. But when it came to, excuse me, explosion, well, like they didn't have that in the room right now. Like David Montgomery, he's pretty good, but like, is he ultra explosive? I wouldn't say so. You know, now you have Jahmyr Gibbs, like taking over for DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is damn. Now he's on the Eagles. I'm a Cowboy fan too. Shout out to my dad. He's from Memphis. So,
How would
so
you, man? Memphis, man, you one or the other.
yeah, yeah. uh, but yeah, no. Lions needed a back. They needed it. They needed a reliable, bell cow or weapon for Jared Goff, because we know when Jared Goff is on, that means the running game is good. So,
Yes.
all right,
Okay.
next.
Moving forward, actually, and we're gonna spend a little bit of time on the Titans only because I did flip the picks. The Lions actually picked 12, Titans picked 11, and they took Peter Skoronski. Given they and we're gonna loop in Will Levis right here because the Will Levis show. I was so entertained with this, Greg. I was loving it. I love when players kind of sweat it out, especially when they like are projected to go so early. And the Levis show was going on for so long.
He's a
I'm not gonna lie,
sadist.
I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed it. And he ends up
He's
going
a
to the
sadist.
Titans, which is kind of great. And then you get Skoronski right there. I kind of like what the Titans did right here, kind of building toward their
Yeah.
future.
It was dumb.
like, no, I like the Skoronski pick, but
Okay, so you still got Tannehill in the fold unless they've already moved him.
He has 1 year left and he has no guaranteed money. It says his last season.
Hold on, time out. So you have Tannehill, who is essentially still your franchise quarterback, right?
Right.
technically.
You draft Malik Willis last year in the third to be the quarterback of the future.
Correct. Which they gave up on in 1 year, which is
You give up on him in
know.
1 year, and then you pick another quarterback that still needs time to be developed. So why not finish developing the guy you already drafted and use that pick on somebody else, like to beef up the whole line?
Yeah, the
beef
psychology
up-
there
or
was
beef
I
up
think they
the-
got new ownership or whatever, right? And the old regime, they did that Malik Willis isn't their guy, so this is their guy. Is the
But I'm saying they
psychology there?
still haven't moved Willis though.
Yeah.
Like you still got to pay him. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
move the piece. Like I'm cool. Like take the pick. All right, this is your guy. New regime. I understand all of that, but move the guy. Like don't like, move him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
After the draft,
Because
see where
can you
like,
imagine this man sitting in the quarterback room being like, I'm the third string quarterback now?
you still
Like,
gotta
no.
pay him. It ain't like the Titans is like the most like cash rich team in the league. Like you paying 3 quarterbacks.
Yes. Yeah. Well, on from one confusing team to another confusing team, and the Green Bay Packers pick 13. They trade up, get Lucas Van Ness, a part of the Aaron Rodgers deal, and they get Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher. You
From
think
Iowa, right?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea is you had a lot of players right here, wide receivers, etc., tight end, as you did, etc., where the Packers, they could have upgraded, kind of did something new, but sometimes you're just yourself. And the Packers, they always pick a trench guy, and here they go with another trench guy, Lucas Van Ness.
Well, I mean, I think they want to be a balanced team. I think in the second round they got a tight end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not-
got they took two of them. They got Luke Musgrave and shoot, I don't recall the other tight end they took, but they got two of them.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him. You lose your all-world quarterback. You're about to start a guy that was supposed to be the guy that took over for the future. You got some weapons around him. There wasn't a really talented quarterback available in this window. Man, spend some money on the defense, man. Get that defense trumped up. You get the defense trumped up, then
Everything else,
maybe the defense can help you win some ball games.
right? That's what I think their philosophy is going to be. Where it's like, yeah, Jordan Lundy, you have Christian Watson, you have Romeo Dobson. I get it. They're young. You're young too.
Senior Bowl guys. Romeo Dubs and Christian Watson, both Senior Bowl guys.
See, there you go. Look at that.
So Green Bay did get Jalen Reed in the third wide receiver.
Another Senior Bowl guy that's extremely talented.
There we go. And then they took Tucker Kraft tight end in the fourth.
Oh, I'm not mad at it.
I'm sorry, in the third. My bad. Third round.
Okay, so they are building up. I'd say yeah, because I don't have my laptop up, but but so they are building up for Jordan Love. That's good. That's good. They're just going to be the Green Bay Packers that, hey, we're going to do it our way. Defense or some, like we could put up big nut points all we want, but we can't stop anybody. What's the point?
Right.
So I get the philosophy.
And then, all right, Hashmaster, even Greg too. I'm kind of curious to see if you guys kind of believe in what is being projected as a conspiracy now. So the Steelers and the Patriots do a trade right here, but the Jets pick at 15. So the whole conspiracy is Belichick blocks Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, goes to get the Steelers, who need an offensive tackle as well. Steelers, Jones, Jets are kind of in the win, and then they don't get an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
We believe that. We believe that conspiracy. I kind of like it.
Oh, absolutely.
I really don't live in conspiracy theory land, but I'm not mad at that.
Right. Like I believe Bill Belichick is that petty to do that. I mean, because I would be that petty to do that if I was drafting and I knew that a rival was coming up and they needed something. I'd be like, hey, would you like to come up instead? But the only hole in that conspiracy is it's still interconference. So you still let the Steelers get up and bolster their offensive line. And eventually Patriots are probably going to have to play them anyway. So,
Well, let's flesh it out. If I'm Bill Belichick and this is a mind game, the Steelers get the guy. It's a calculated risk. I'd rather play the Steelers and play Aaron Rodgers and this new Jets.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's kind of fun. It's cool. So, Jets, they take Will McDonald. Very productive. Very good offensive lineman.
Nice feet.
Yeah, big time. I did like that pick a lot.
You talking about Pittsburgh or New York?
I'm talking about the Jets. Yeah, taking Will McDonald.
He's an edge rusher from Iowa State.
Wait, who?
Will McDonald.
Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Wait, who was I talking about?
No, that was me. I said he was a linebacker.
UGA. He went to Pittsburgh. The tackle from Georgia went to Pittsburgh, and then the edge from Iowa State went to New York.
Yeah, Broderick Jones to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
That I was talking about Broderick Jones.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, when I said good feet work, good footwork. I'm saying, yeah. All right, there you go.
Yeah. So, Kenny Pickett, more protection. Jets get more better on defense. Pick 16.
Man, I wanted to see Malik Willis in Pittsburgh last year. I wasn't a huge fan of Pickett.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to see Malik Willis in Pittsburgh. I thought
Yeah.
that should have been the pick, but
Mhm.
Kenny
I
Pickett.
thought Pickett was a better fit for Tennessee, and Willis was a better fit for Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I like that. It's
But
like, oh, he's the hometown kid, and it's like, well, sometimes it's good for kids to leave, for a little bit,
yeah,
grow.
and
Um,
they do everything on campus, so they share everything.
yeah,
So he's not like same thing for Tank. Well, they don't share everything at Houston with the Texans, but Tank played at University of Houston, and now he's playing for the Texans. Like he's at the crib.
right. um,
Work
but
out
yeah,
like
I just thought like just aesthetics wise, I was like, okay, hey, Malik Willis just getting the tutelage under Mike Tomlin. It just made too much sense. Honestly, it made too much sense, and it didn't happen.
I'm telling you, got robbed. We got robbed.
Yeah,
Sometimes if it makes too much sense, it will just not happen.
We got robbed,
yeah.
man.
Well, I now I know how Raider fans feel. Shout out to all my Raiders fans, especially my wife. All right, so
Going to pick 16. I wasn't on kind of on the money. The Commanders did go safety, but they took Emmanuel Forbes, not Brian Branch. So Emmanuel Forbes, they get even better with their soft defensive reset. And then we have the Patriots. They took my guy Christian Gonzalez.
I don't see. This is why I get mad at the NFL sometimes. It's like, how you let this man fall like that?
New toy for Bill Belichick. Big
Right?
time.
Like, and Bill Belichick is not just known for defense; he's known for coaching the hell out of corners.
Yeah.
So, but good for Christian though.
Corner is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Big time. Then right after that, the Lions, their pick, they some are saying it's a reach, some are trying to justify it, but Jack Campbell, number one linebacker, pick 18.
Incredible pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Because what do they need more than anything? Defense.
Yeah.
So, and they they have that. They have Rodrigo, Aiden Hutchinson. I know they traded away Jeff Okuda. There's somebody. I know they traded him for somebody else. I
forgot who they traded for on that actually.
Yeah. I'll get back to that later. But Aaron Glenn as a defensive play caller, he could tell from with the 1-6 start from then on forward, the defense started playing better because all those young guys started getting experience, playing together, gelling, learning, So it was interesting. So now they just needed more talent, and now they got it. And also, how do we feel about Hendon Hooker being drafted by the Detroit Lions?
Great pick, phenomenal pick.
I liked it.
I felt like if he didn't get hurt, he's surely drafted higher than what he was. So that's a steal.
Yeah,
I liked it. I like where he fell right there. Totally perfect.
And funny thing was, I thought he was going to go to the Vikings for a moment, and people talk, oh, he's 25 years old. Okay, what that mean? As long as he goes somewhere where somebody. I mean, as long as somebody.
If you say a 25-year-old wideout, then of course, like you have to kind of reevaluate what we're doing here. But you're talking about a 25-year-old quarterback where quarterbacks play until they're 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Worst come to worst, you just drafted an incredibly talented lifelong backup.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to look at it that way. But then if you want to be realistic, you look at this guy for what he is and then his football mind, and you have your possible quarterback for the future for compared to what he would have been. So, I think that was a great pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean you're playing in Detroit, you're playing in a dome, you're backing up Goff. Who knows what the long-term plan is there? You have a great offense whenever you are gonna start. I mean, you're kind of good.
Got the weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, weapons.
Yep.
Hey, got some weapons.
Yeah.
So, what we got next, Filthy?
Next up, we got the Buccaneers, and this is where I kind of was patting myself on the back. I kind of wish Legendarius was, because my mock is looking kind of pretty right here, because the Bucks take Kalisha Kancey right there on the line. There's Sue back up, moving on to 20. Seahawks take Jackson Smith and Jigba, as
Yeah,
I had it written here.
that was a really good pick because because when you think about it, like the Seahawks like receiver room, you're like Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and then you're like, who else? You know, and you already heard the rumblings. Oh, Tyler Lockett's not going to be there forever. So who else than Jackson Smith in Jigba? So
Yep.
I thought he was going to be. I honestly thought he was going to be a Packer. Honestly.
Yeah, a lot of people have him going to the Packers. Yeah, but I know Jackson's happy he's not going to be a Packer.
Man, look, I guess they just took best available because I didn't agree with this pick.
Yeah.
Who did you want to see go there?
And they could have gone Nolan Smith. They could have gone Brian Brees.
That's true. That's true.
Like, of course, like y'all just got through talking about DK and Tyler. All right, maybe this is Tyler's last year, but you don't draft a receiver in the first round unless you think he's going to be your ex.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying a Z first round money. Like,
you're right.
What are we doing here? Like, so is DK not the ex anymore? Yes, he is. You don't have to think about that. Yes, he is. That's DK.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, my bad for not playing receiver. I had to think about. I was like, X is the outside.
So in the league, the X is like the guy, right?
Yeah.
So the X is
DK is the guy. Will be the guy.
That's my pre-snap. I'm picking this motherfucker regardless. Like that's my guy. if he'll break loose, fuck it. He down there somewhere, right?
Right. That's DK.
That's DK, right? So then and I like Jackson. Jackson is like a really talented, like I don't even want to just say wide out. He's a really talented offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Fuck, why are you drafting in the first round? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Seahawks got some shit up their sleeve, but
I like I said, I'd rather them go to the Packers, be a number one with Christian.
He wasn't gonna be the number one in Green Bay.
No, yeah, I don't think he was.
Number one, dude. Like you're talking about a guy that is 6'4" and some change. Like literally, me and this guy's like eye to eye, 6'4" and some change. He was 22 and a half miles per hour on the GPS. Like he can fly. He can drop his feet. He can change direction. He showed he can make big plays last year. Man, that's number one.
Yeah.
You don't draft a guy and assume he can be the number one when somebody has shown you that they're a number one. Allah, Tennessee Titans with AJ Brown.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, he dropped out. Yeah. All right. Well, he'll come back, but we'll continue. We'll continue. So the run on wide receivers began with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and from there went Quentin Johnson to the Chargers, Zay Flowers to the Ravens, Jordan Addison to the Vikings. I hit on Zay Flowers. He was on my mock going to the Ravens, but Quentin Johnson to the Chargers, I thought was confusing because they already have Mike Williams.
Because Quentin Johnson is like 6'5", right?
Yeah, and he also drops the ball like Mike Williams. You take Quentin Johnson there. You go Ravens go Zay Flowers. I like that a lot. So you're rebuilding your wide receiver room right there. You re-signed Lamar Jackson to the 5-year deal. He is now the highest paid. You got Odell Beckham. So the Ravens quietly having a super active season right here, right in the midst of draft season.
Yep. This is exactly probably what we've all been clamoring for the last 2 years at least, or probably the whole time Lamar's been there. But
Legendarius for sure, the guru. The bum got paid.
Yeah. He called that. Yeah, because at first I was like, bro, I don't know, because if I have bad blood with somebody like this, yeah, I'm not going back. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, it's just off of principle at this point. And then maybe somebody, maybe like the Jalen Hurts deal did help to where it's like, oh, okay, well, he didn't get all guaranteed, and this man just made his Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
he did, and I'm just glad that he didn't double down and say, all guaranteed, all guaranteed. He doesn't have to fight that fight anymore. That's somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
So
I do love Jordan Addison to the Vikings just because he replaces Thielen, and if his comp is anything to what the actual product is, that is extremely, extremely deadly.
oh, deadly as hell. Addison, from what I remember, he's not tall at all, right? He's like 5'8". No, he's not. He's like 5'10".
Yeah, he's about there for sure, under 6 feet. Really explosive.
But yeah, but he's shifty as hell. And it's like, yo, we want this guy to have the ball in his hands. He could be like Percy Harvin. The Percy Harvin we never got. And Justin Jefferson is JJ. Like, what? Like, who doesn't want that?
Yeah,
I think that's
time.
I think that's a perfect fit.
All right, so pick 24, the Giants. There's some trades going down. Like, I love that there were so many trades with teams. I think there were like 6 trades going down in the first round with these teams, but we got 2 back-to-back right
with
here.
like some of the most in history.
Yeah. So first the Giants traded out. Well, first the Jags traded out with the Giants. So the Giants had pick 24. And then the Jags traded out again with the Bills at 25 to pick 27. So because of that, the Giants were able to grab Deontay Banks, safety for their backfield. I mean, for their secondary. Yeah. And the Bills were able to grab Dalton Kincaid.
No, I was like, you guys already have Dawson Knox. Use him.
Yeah. The Dalton show. It's D squared.
D squared, dudes. Yeah, no.
I mean, I like him. It opens up your offense for Dalton Kincaid, Deontay Banks. I mean, the Giants, they've been getting better on defense. They've been trying to. I guess you can argue this is your James Bradbury replacement.
Yeah. And at least with Deion Banks, he's versatile enough, to where he's a DB, not just a corner. He can play, multiple positions, within that. He could play the slot. So why not? And after getting, after like Philly, you have Washington's receivers, Dallas's CeeDee Lamb. Yep. It's like you have people you need to cover. So you need, you can never have too many DBs.
Here we are, number 26, the Dallas Cowboys. After much talk about what they may or may not do, they end up going for the first time since 1991, defensive tackle Mozzie Smith.
A big, thick defensive wall.
How'd you feel about this pick, given our mock, given needs? Technically, this is a need. So how'd you feel about it?
I'm a value this like the Tampa Bay Bucks value Haloti. Oh my God, Vita Vea. I was about to say Haloti Nada, and I was like, nah, that's the Ravens. And with I think with this pick, what it will allow your defense to do is to blitz more, because yeah, he didn't have like crazy production as far as like he didn't get sacks, but the man stops runs. He could stop the run, and if he's taking on double teams and linebackers are flowing through, there you go. You got more sacks. Micah Parsons goes from 13 sacks to 16 maybe. What if he goes to 18? And then at this point, if teams can't run on us, they're going to have to pass, to where now our pass rush, we just pin our ears back and go. So,
well, even to your point, come on, Hashmaster, what's been our issue? Where do we always get killed? Going back to the freaking Rams, getting killed by freaking Todd Gurley, and freaking Daryl Henderson's thick ass. Okay, what has always been our issue? Going as recent as both games versus the Niners, going to every game in our division, we get gashed on the run
Yeah,
continuously. Continuously.
continuously.
It doesn't matter what we did. We were getting gashed and we were losing for that reason. You get
Yeah,
Mozzie Smith, top run stopper in the draft. I have to believe this is going to make a huge interior presence difference.
yeah, yeah. I think it will. I think it will. And now I won't be holding my breath when we play against those run heavy teams in the playoffs anymore.
Exactly. Even his tape, because I had to, because I was kind of with the, I kind of fell for the media trap. I kind of wanted them to go offense because we do need offense at the end of the day. But the more I looked at Mozzie Smith, the more I looked at his tape and his stats, the more like I do like what he brings to the table. I do
Yeah.
like the need that he fills for Dallas, and I really hope he pays off just like a Marcus Spears and a DeMarcus Ware did, and not like a Taco Charlton.
Yeah, exactly. Who like played like 2 times and was gone.
Yeah.
Or getting suspended for 5 years, like Randy Gregory, and then now we get to see him low key out of his prime. So
Yeah, big time. So as Dallas fans, we are hopeful. They tend to make really smart picks. Even going down to the second round, they do get their tight end.
yeah,
Like we had talked about, it wasn't Sam Lacosta. Shout out Detroit, you sneaky bastards. But it wasn't Michael Mayer either. Shout out Raiders. I get it. You gave up your tight end, but Cowboys were able to get Luke Schoonmaker. I think he's a great scheme fit.
yeah,
And I like what he's going to be able to do. And I think Dallas is going to be able to get really good production out of him.
yep. I agree.
Even their third round pick, they really surprised me. I didn't think they were going to go inside linebacker even for this pick, but they did. DeMarvion Overshawn. I really
They
like
sure
it.
did. From Texas, right?
Yeah. Frees up Micah Parsons for sure. He's able to do more. Dan Quinn has a lot more flexibility with him and Mozzie Smith.
Perfect.
And I'm not sure if you saw it was during our interview, Hashmaster, but San Jose State, Viliami Fehiko, welcome to the Cowboys, edge rusher.
Oh, I did not see it. I did not see that.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
3 times tackle for loss
Hometown
leader,
kid.
three times tackle for loss leader on the Cowboys. We're trying to make a difference here. Rounding out the first round of the draft, Jaguars go offense for Trevor Lawrence, and they take Anton Harrison. We had him going way earlier. Bengals, they go with the Miles Murphy.
Miles Murphy. Yep. Yeah.
Him plus Trey Hendrickson. You got Sam Hubbard right
Sam
there.
Hubbard. Yes.
They even take Jordan Battle too. So they're definitely rebuilding that defense a little bit.
Jordan Battle, that was the dude that ran the 4.26, right?
He was. I think he was ranked 5, the rank 5 safety.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saints, they go for kind of a surprise here, to be honest, and they go Brian Breezy.
Oh, lemon squeezy.
Yeah, they definitely take him there. They had other needs too, but hey, you do have to get younger, address other positions, so they go defensive tackle, I believe he plays. And then Philadelphia once again strikes while the iron is hot. They take the best available low-hanging fruit, and low-hanging fruit it was. Georgia once again.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith.
Yeah. Well, because no one else was jumping at him. So, like, hey, you know what? Why not just take the fastest defensive lineman in the NFL Combine and put him on our team?
I'm not looking forward to playing the Eagles. It's very annoying, but knowing the Cowboys, they're going to find a way to beat them with the backup. Hey,
there you go.
No, this was painful. I did not like this.
Yeah, no, I just didn't understand why Nolan Smith just like slid like that. Like, I get it. Combine numbers aren't everything. They're not. They're hardly anything. It's just the fact that, if you're, somebody like Nolan Smith, like I mentioned with Jalen Carter, if you're a project guy, or if you're a guy with some quote unquote baggage, you need to be in a locker room with a bunch of veterans or great coaching to help you blossom. And God damn it, they got both of the sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of upset, but I'm not mad at it at the end of the day, because Howie Smith is literally playing like chess, and some of these GMs are playing checkers.
Yeah, we'll see if it pays off for Super Bowl rings for them. Remains to be seen. Haha, I'm a hater. And now, last pick in the draft, the Kansas City Chiefs. They take Felix Anudike Uzama, defensive end, right there, edge rusher. You like that? They were taking that. Even when you go to the second and third rounds, the Chiefs got a little bit active in the second and third round, just taking defensive players, taking edge players. And you know what? I'll say too before we wrap up on defensive tackle, surprisingly deep. That was a position so many of these teams kept tapping this year. Defensive tackle, defensive tackle, defensive tackle.
Yeah. Defensive tackle, they hit up the offensive line a little bit, like, you know, like kind of like when I got boring in my mock drafts, but I was just like, hey, this is what you need to do. But
yeah,
you know, sometimes you, like I said, the big uglies, they deserve some love too. So, but with the defensive tackle, yes, it was surprisingly deep. They're making a comeback. Bring sexy back.
Okay. I will say second round got surprisingly deep to start. A lot of players dropped in the second round. You know, Joey Porter went immediately first to the Steelers. I'm kind of surprised about the players who dropped to the second, but what are you going to do, man? But, you know, Greg's guy, Jonathan Mingo, goes to the Panthers. Very happy to see what the Panthers do next season. I like that combination of their offense. They've made some late addition key picks on defense in the later rounds. We'll see what happens in OTAs. We'll see who starts preseason and everything else. It'll be great. And that is your NFL 2023 wrap up with Sports Mindz, Philthy, Hashmaster. Greg, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, and before y'all even decide on listening, within our drop link, please follow Fast Break Wideouts and follow our boy Greg on his journey. So anyway, that's it. That's all we got. Y'all have a great Saturday, great weekend. Peace.